Jim's Hot Rods will be on here. We're going to talk about the 49 F3 Ford pickup truck. Okay, so here you go. Because, done a lot of crap for people to make money. Then I realized I shouldn't have done it because, well, none of their cars are on the road. None of their shit means anything. I never see them on the road. I see Hondas and Yahoos and Prius, pieces of shit. Your average Whirlpool with wheels. So we're going to get to something really badass, right? So here you go. That's my truck frame. Okay? And if you look at some of the older videos, because I haven't really talked about this at all. I was talking about stainless steel. So anyways, I do have a flathead for this truck, but that's not going to happen. I'll show you why. That engine right there is the 6-cylinder engine that literally sat at an engine shop for 6 months. 6 fucking months at an engine shop. Again, I'm a professional. I have a big fucking fancy name on my big fucking fancy sign, and it says Engine Rebuilders. Well, that engine sat there for 6 months. I told them what I wanted. I gave them NOS pistons, rings, everything. The only thing they had to do is recut the seats for the valves, put a sleeve in on the number 1 cylinder, repolish my crank and bullshit and some stupid, like $800 worth of work, right? Cheap money for an amazing vintage Americana. Well, that engine shop didn't do a fucking thing, but made it more dirty. Matter of fact, it was so fucking dirty when I picked it up, it had engine shavings because the guy came in at night, or whoever, I'm a professional employee, worked there. He decided to work on stuff on his own time and not move anything. So my engine, that 6-cylinder, was full of his metal shavings. And 6 months go by, and I'm like, you know what? Wow, I dropped that off in the fucking spring. I go back last week of September. This was 2015 in September. So I dropped it off the beginning of 2015 in the spring. Picked it up last week of September 2015. I happened to go to Worcester, the city. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to check this guy out. And there it was. It sat there. He was on vacation. Yeah. I'm a professional. Big motherfucking professional. With a big, stupid, I'm a professional engine rebuilder sign in the front of his fucking business. Well, guess what? That son of a bitch engine shop went out of business. And he didn't tell anybody. He closed his fucking doors. So instead of telling somebody prior to bringing the shit in, he just continued to bring in work and not tell anybody. And he ended up throwing and he just threw things away. Yeah, he threw all kinds of shit away. I was lucky enough to salvage my engine from the shop, because the only reason why I got it back is because I happen to need a brake fitting at the counter. And the engine shop has an auto parts store attached to it. Well, they went out of business. Long story short, there you go. Dropped the ball on Mr. 6-cylinder. So we got this engine right here. The one that you see in the frame. I paid $50. $50 for this engine right here, which is a 86 roller cam engine from a Mustang. It was sitting in the mud at the swap meet. I paid $50 for it. I paid $10 for the race wires, brand new in a box. Okay, $3 for the Moroso air cleaner, $10 for a 700 Holley carb. I bought a HEI one-wire hookup distributor for $70, brand new. I rebuilt and reorganized a GM alternator to work on a Ford. Bought the Flexolite fan for $20 at the at an auto parts wrecking yard. The only thing I actually had custom made was, well, the stainless steel tray for the battery. Now this is what the sucky part is. In order to get this engine in this frame, and I still think I'm going to have to move the engine forward a bit, is I had to relocate my steering box. Because the way that the header fits is just too goddamn close. And that's why we like original equipment stuff. Because I had to modify that. And I can get, it's enough clearance. But I had to bring my steering box outward an inch. So it's fine now. So now I can move this engine forward if I have to. So let's go through it. Intake manifold, Craigslist, $100. Done. Redid it all. Fires. Oh, this thing runs like a champ. You'd think I spend $5,000-$6,000 on it. Thing runs like new. It's beautiful. I bought a vintage Ford bell housing to a Chevy transmission, which is a '74 Camaro Saginaw. That's right, a Chevy 4-speed. I bought that transmission for $100. Never been cracked open. All original from a Camaro. What I didn't get was the linkages and the rods. I had to purchase brand new linkage system and rods for like $160. Imagine that. Those fucking rods cost more than transmission. Imagine that. Those are factory rods and linkages for a '74 Camaro Saginaw. And then I bought a competition Hurst shifter for a 4-speed that somebody had modified for a track circle car. I paid $20 for that. And good thing, because I have to modify this shifter anyways, because I'm going to show you what I have. I have a better shifter. I have this octagon stainless steel shaft that I'm going to be using for that stick shift. And you can see how it looks right there. They curved it, cut it. But anyways, anybody that needs to purchase one of these, don't bother. Don't fucking waste your money. It's $600 for a fucking Hurst shifter. What for? You can't drive your car every day on the road like I can. You drive your Prius, your Honda, your fucking Toyota, your shipbox new Dodge pickup truck that everybody keeps fucking getting screwed up with a goddamn car payment for. You want to do that? You're okay with that? You want to get fucked in the ass? Go for it. I don't. See this? I'm going to drive that, okay? I'm going to drive this every fucking day because I can. You can't, okay? Because you don't know how to service nothing. If you want to watch the video, watch the video. You might learn something. So anyways, you're asking yourself, hey, how the hell did they get a Chevy transmission converted to a Ford? It's called fucking knowledge, okay? I machined the flywheel, the clutch, a pickle fork, throw-out bearing. I made my own pilot bearing. Everything I machined, okay? The starter, because that vintage bell housing isn't marked with a brand, was very difficult to figure out. That's my second starter. I bought 2 starters, one brand new from the communist country. I figured, hey, what's $50 fucking dollars? I'll just throw $50 at my ass. Who gives a shit, right? So I bought a starter from the communist country, threw it away. Brand fucking new. Once you install it, throw it away because it's electronic. Can't bring it back. And then I bought this one. It's a high rev, high torque mini starter, race starter, whatever you want to fucking call it. But anyways, it's for high compression, high performance race application only. That son of a bitch cost me $186. Okay? It fits on and it starts that fucking engine like butter. Okay? Don't ask me where it's made. I'm not going to fucking tell you, but I do know that it's made by a company called Pro. We ain't going to say Pro what, whatever. It fits great. But anyways, that is the engine configuration for the F3 pickup truck. Okay? I have a custom-made fuel cell. I did not buy it from a communist country. I did not buy it from some goofy, I'm the professional with a big fancy fucking stupid sign on my building. This is hand fabricated. Okay? Solid steel, holds 22 gallons of fuel. I welded up. I don't have to get involved with that. You know how to weld a seam? Because you wouldn't be watching my videos if anybody does watch it. But I did purchase a Cool Cap from Cool Cap Industries, or, well, let's see, what do they call them? Professional names now? I think it's Air Ride Technology. That's the corporation now. I purchased that like 22 years ago. 22 years ago or something like that. I just been hanging around, so I figured I'd use it. So this is temporary for right now until I can get the bed on, and then that will be inside the bed of the floor. So there you go. I'm using all the original pedals. This is just the steering wheel that I move it for. This runs and stops everything. This whole rig you're looking at with no sheet metal on it runs and drives. Okay, brand new. There's 0 miles on the whole chassis. 0 fucking miles. Okay, everything is new. Down to the handmade stainless steel hardware. I made every single goddamn bolt myself. Okay, all those bolts I hand make. The swing arms are all from Ford. Okay, all brand new. And this is where I'm working on. Since I put a V8 in the car now, the truck, I had to put a custom firewall in. So you can see the custom firewall. There's my pan on the bottom. I still got to weld that in, but I can't do that until I figure if I have to move the engine forward a little bit more, which I think I do. I had to put a whole brand new floor in this truck. Down to the fucking rocker panels. Now all four corners, including the roof, right where the windshield meets the roof line, and the head, the sun visor, all gone. This truck sat in the field for probably 40-something years. I got it for free. Gentleman passed away. I have an original title for this truck. Original VIN number. Everything. When I got this truck and started purchasing everything to do it, this truck had 46,000 original miles on it. Okay? But it was in bad shape. So everything has been dismantled. The torque boxes, the lower fender skirt, cut right into the side panels. So I stitch welded up, replaced lower corners, a patch there. All the inside of the torque boxes for the pillars have been reconstructed. This has all been this is bare metal. That's all been sandblasted. I put a new firewall in for exact dimension from the original, as you can tell by the spot welds. Okay? Relocated the original factory holes for the thread. And the original firewall used to, when you open the hood, it would pucker in and out. This one is 14 gauge steel with an 1/8 inch plate behind it with the weld bungs welded in with fine thread nuts for the original hinge. Everything is like factory. Relocated the heater box in a new location, moved it over. It's pretty much close to where it was originally, except it's 3 inches that way. So now it looks better. Everything's been restored. All the floor has been new. I still have to cut the tunnel ram out a little bit. You can see everything has been reconstructed in there. Okay, I've been doing this. All of this was rotted, so I had to reconstruct this whole thing. Put new buns in it, okay? The custom floor, the original pan for the gas tank is still in there. This is your support member, okay? You must use this. This has all been taken out, sandblasted in and out because this whole floor was gone. This was all rotted. As you can tell, that little patch where the air box goes has to be done still, and that's where I was working on in a couple spots. Everything, even the dash rusted out. So I'm fixing all of that. So most of it's done. Sandblasted, relocated, brand new floor. These brackets, if you know these old F1 trucks, F1 series trucks, they had a big spring seat bench. Well, this isn't bench no more. I'm using Ranger bucket seats. But these brackets are for the pedestal, for the bucket seats. It's pretty much the same height with a little bit of channel to it, so you actually sit lower in the truck. So it gives you the illusion like your truck is lowered, but it really isn't. So the truck is up high, and I like that. So I'm going to leave it that way, lower the seats. So you look lower in the doors. Really badass. But that's the pedestal. Not only is the pedestal, but we're going to look at what it is. And here it is. That's the pedestal for the seat. Oh yeah, you see those big holes in it? Look at the size of them holes. Them holes are two 10-inch 1,000-watt subwoofers. And the pedestal are on vintage mid-80s slide tracks. Everything was mounted. I've had this whole truck, had the whole truck assembled. The interior is pretty much all done. Everything is new. 0 miles on everything that I had purchased for it. I've dismantled it like 2 or 3 times. This is the last time. Now it's all fucking primer, paint, bodywork. And then hopefully I'll have the whole thing painted with this silver paint, just in blue. Silver and blue. Just like you see it. Oh, by the way, you like the Deuce, right? There you go. The shifter is the same thing. The number 2 blue pool ball. It's the same thing. And I also have shift knobs that I custom made out of aluminum. I have a different shift knob a day of the week. So that's just a tidbit that, because if I'm angry one day, I put the angry God on, and if I'm feeling horny, then I put the sex symbol or something on it, something goofy, stupid, So anyways, we're going to drive around with the pool ball. So, custom made stereo box, but also is the seat pedestal. And those pockets that you've seen on the floor, well, those pockets actually, since this is the back side, this right here, this panel sits over the top of the original floor support. And then this screws into the front of it. The back of this box sits up against this. This will be all carpet. The same color gold carpet goes in first, and then I take that, put that on top, and it sits into those little channels, and then you screw the channels. 4 screws on each side and 4 in the front. And that stops it from sliding forward, and that bolts it from the sides. And basically, it bolts the whole and anchors the whole speaker system and bucket seats down to the floor. And there's no way for it to move. And I methodically think these things out because I'm not impressed. I see so many people. I stopped going to the car shows because I'm a professional people that say I got a car. Don't put any time or thought into anything that they think they can drive. It's totally illegal. It's all fucking junk. This truck will be factory showroom when I'm done. As you can tell by the frame, it took me over 4 years to do that frame. And you don't even want to know what I spent on all the stainless, all handmade stuff. So, but when I see this truck all done, and I'm waiting for, I just got the CD player. I use vintage CDs, and I'm gonna do another video on that stuff because all of my cars have vintage audio systems, and they're state of the art. These things, all of my systems. I got one system that's it's actually my first car that I've ever owned. I still have it. That system in it, it's like new. And people ask me, how the hell do you get things to last long? Because you buy good quality stuff. You search the internet. You search the world for stuff. I just got a box. Actually, here, there's a van. See that white box right there? That just came from Honolulu, Hawaii. That's a vintage CD player that a dealer had NOS in a box. And I got out of Hawaii on auction, so I'm dying to see what it looks like because I know what it is. I own 2 of them already, and I cannot wait. If it needs repairing, I have it repaired. So there you go. I'm going to do that, do some more videos. Have a good day. Jim's Hot Rods and Beyond.